Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video we'll see how to open or launch a color picker dialog like this one I'm showing here in Excel, of course, using VBA macros. And this is an example from Word Search Pro. It's a word search application in Excel where you can create word search puzzles and a number of things here. And there is a dialog. Let me go back here to the main menu where you can pick some options for the solution of the word search, and you can pick the colors in which for which the solution or the keywords are circle or are shadow. So when you click on this icon here, it launches this dialog to pick the color you want. For example, let's say we want to have them red, circle in red color or with a red line, right? We can also pick the shadow. Let's say we want to have them uh, blue or whatever. Yeah, let's say pink. And then let me just create a new puzzle and go to the solution. You see we've got the red color for the lines and the purple, pink, purple, I don't know, for the shadow. So we're gonna learn in this video how to do that, how to open this dialog, get the color, store the color, and use it for any other purpose later, right? So let's start here from uh, this other workbook where I have some data, and we may want to color um, for example, the duplicates in with some specific color, or we can do whatever we want with that color. So let's go to the Visual Basic editor, and to launch the dialog, we gonna use, so let's call this color picker macro or whatever. And to launch the dialog, we're gonna use the dialog object, right? We've seen that in some other videos. I'm gonna leave the link up here for a video where we talked about the file dialogs, and we're using the same, or well, one of the methods we showed in that video. We're gonna declare an object dialog variable, like let's call it object dialog as a dialog. Dialog is an object, and we have to set now object dialog as application dialogs. And you see there are many possibilities here. I've shown that already in some other videos. The one we want to have for this particular color picker is Excel dialog edit color. Now we can show that dialog. Now this dialog is a color picker dialog, right? We can use the show method, and now we have to specify which number is associated with the color that we're gonna pick. So there's a list of numbers for each workbook. This is stored in the workbook, and we can have a number from 1 to I believe it's 56. But you're not gonna need so many colors, but let's say you need a few colors, so you can have usually a start from 10 or 12, but you can also use number 1, uh, for example. So if I run the macro as is, it's gonna show a color picker. Um, it's gonna give you by default the number 1, what's the color associated with number 1, which is black, but you can change that. Usually the first numbers are associated with basic colors like black, red, blue, yellow, and so on. That's why I start using numbers from 10 or 12, but it doesn't really matter. Now if I pick a color, it's gonna store this new color in that variable. Let's have it in number 12, for example. Now, once we have this color associated with number 12, we can retrieve that color using workbook colors. So let's put it in a variable. This is gonna give us the color as number, and we can put it in a variable. Let's call it user color. This is the color that the user is picking. So it's gonna be now in this workbook where we have the macro or the active workbook, or right colors. And here is number 12 because that's the one we're gonna use. This needs to match number 12 with the one we just picked. Now we're gonna have that color associated with this variable. And now this can be used with the property color, okay? Not with color index. Color index is a different one. It's a defined set of colors. Not with RGB, of course. This is working with the property color. You can use the property color for many things. Let's say in this column we want to have the font color change to whatever color we pick. So we would go and say with selection, the range that I selected, dot font dot color, we could have our user color. So I'm gonna run this macro. It's gonna show a dialog to pick the color, and then once we pick the color, it's gonna save it here, and it's gonna, in the selected range, it's gonna change the font color of the data, right? So if I run it, we get here the color picker. Now, the default color is different because we have changed to color 12. Remember, before we used colors 1, which was black, but now here's 12. 12 has this color. This doesn't really matter. Now you're gonna pick a color. Let's say we want to have it red, or let's say we want to have it, and of course you can also pick a color here. So let's say we want to have it green, dark green, or something like that. Now I'm gonna click OK. It's gonna save that color, and it's gonna change, as you see, the font to that new color, right? We can change also, let's say we want to change not the font, but the interior of the cell, right? So we can change here interior and color. Important is that we have to use the color property. Now, if I run it and we have selected a different range, it shows by default now the green. That's what it has been stored, right, in number 12, in colors number 12. But now let's say we want to have here a light blue interior color. This is going to change the interior color. When I click OK, we go back to the worksheet, and it has changed the interior now color of this. We could also do the borders, for example. Well, I think you get it, right? We can change the color of any object, either the font, the interior, the borders, or even the color of the tab here, or whatever object that works with the color property. We can change the color as per the color that has been picked with the color picker, right? So this is how we open, or how we use a color picker dialog in Excel with VBA macros. Thanks for watching.